This is the Rich Lieberman Bay Area Media Pulse. It is Tuesday, and boy, a lot to talk about. I've got multiple issues on the various Bay Area media landscape to investigate. This one is kind of interesting in kind of a sort of a dramatic way. Now, I reported about a couple of months ago, and I'm the only one who reported this because I'm the only one who covers media in the Bay Area, San Francisco, Oakland market. And not patting myself on the back, I'm just giving you a fact that I cover the media here. And it's not always a pretty picture. It's not always positive. It's mostly critical, but that's just one element of this. I also talk about information that I'm able to gather, information that's not going to be presented to you, and especially in this case, what I'm about to tell you. And for good reason, because they don't want you to know. They think that you have no right to know. And to their defense, they being Disney, KGO, and of course ABC7 here locally, they don't want you to know the inners. That's why I'm here. So about a month ago, well, that was maybe 6 to 8 weeks ago, a couple months, I told you that controversial anchor Julian Glover, who I'm not a fan of, I know too much. And some I don't really know. I just have a feeling, but I'm not a fan of the guy. I've heard about, a DIY. Or did I have it a wrong way? I think it's DI, whatever. DI, well, you know. They hired him out here because he touches a lot of, shall we say, checks all the boxes. And so they brought in this Glover, and he came in from Cleveland. He came here about 5 years ago, okay, shortly before the pandemic. And I heard some various people told me that he was not exactly, shall we say, a team player, but in many ways he is. Now, let's just state the obvious now, okay? I have to be very delicate here because I'm going to give you my opinion, and I'm going to tell you what is being, shall we say, gossiped about, and I'm going to try to give you factual stuff, and I'm going to give you an opinion based on what I hear, okay? I said in the open, not a fan of this guy, because I had heard through the grapevine that, let's just say that they brought him in and he was very fond of kind of looking around the geography there on the Embarcadero where KGO is, ABC7, 900 front, and shall we say unofficially reporting to ABC Disney execs about some of the things that he thought were issues, okay? A snitch, basically. And I said it, that's right, I heard. So, an opinion based on facts that I had heard, okay? And so combine that with an employee also. Now, Glover has been suspended. I don't know the exact reason, but he hasn't been on the air for well over a month now. And of course, they're not going to say anything. They don't going to tell you, the viewer, why he's been gone. Not that anybody's been, oh my God, Julian Glover's gone. Where is he? Of course, there hasn't been that reaction. And they can't say anything because they have an employee who's been off the air as they handle internal matters. Now, you might say, well, what are the internal matters? Well, Dion Lim left KGO a little after April. She's been gone. And they still have her up on the roster. Apparently, it's still on their website, but she's gone from Channel 7. And ostensibly because she thought she was going to be a more of a primetime anchor, but she also had issues come up. She didn't want to work the weekends. She wanted to be more Monday through Friday. But in addition to that, she had official and unofficial situational stuff take place between her and Julian Glover. Now, I told you about the matter in which Dion Lim was fond of doing stories where she would post videos of criminal activity, of elderly women getting knocked down in Chinatown, especially the one not just in San Francisco, but mainly Oakland, Chinatown. She posted videos to which it became such, well, it was popular amongst viewers. Of course, it was very visual and very much a part of her repertoire. But guess what? Glover made us think about it, and actually confronted Lim about it. It wasn't physical, obviously. It wasn't anything other than the fact that he wasn't too pleased. Why? Because several of the videos appeared to show African-American men, young men involved in these alleged, well, they weren't alleged, they took place on camera, but we have to legalize it sometimes and say alleged. So I'll do that. But suffice to say, he wasn't pleased. He thought Dion Lim, was making this beyond an issue. So let's just say they had confrontations. Again, they weren't that serious. There was nothing physical, obviously, otherwise you would have heard about it. But nevertheless, issues became really huge. And you have the subsequent transactional where and I told you this too, Lim left KGO. One of their more popular anchors. I don't think she's that great. I think she improved, but doesn't matter here. But they thought highly of her. She thought highly of herself, thought she was going to have a more prominent role, right? Glover is here for about the same length of time, maybe a little shorter run than Dion Lim. Nevertheless, let's just put it this way, folks. They weren't exactly bed buddies. And I don't mean that as it sounds. They weren't really friendly. They weren't exactly, shall we say, compelling colleagues with one another. And boy, my tap dancing, they didn't like each other. How's that? They did not like each other, especially Glover to Dion Lim. That I can tell you with certainty. Now let's go back to the present. I told you about the fact that he complained not only internally at KGO, but HR. And now you've had, for well over a month, the fact that Glover has been off the air. Now, I don't know if they're using the term suspended. I do imagine he's being paid. And this matter, or more precisely, matters, have gone to Disney, which, by the way, as you all know, owns ABC7, owns all the ABC Disney television news stations. So this is something which is really, really a profound problem. Disney, as we all know, with their, in my opinion, crappy, and not just mine, but I say it openly and publicly, and I've had over the last few years, their BS, crappy, fake, I want to talk about fake news, building a better Bay Area. And they have that as part of their repertoire at all their stations. LA, building a better LA, building a better Chicago, New York. That's their crap. It's a Disney phenomenon, which makes this internal battle, folks, between Glover, and it's not just Glover and Lim. It's more than that, but I can tell you that a very significant reason, a very significant part of his suspension has to deal with this issue. And boy, does it have the attention of the Disney internal people. The legal people, they're in a dilemma too, because both Lim, who is no longer there. I don't know in what capacity. She's no longer at any other station, by the way, either. She's been unable to land a gig yet at another, not just a Bay Area, but a national news, which she obviously has aspirations to becoming a network type of anchor. I told you here again that she applied to work for the CBS News stream that runs 24/7 just up the street. It's headquartered at 855 Battery, where KPIX is headquartered. She also wanted to work at Channel 5, no dice. And Glover, who is obviously black, comes from Cleveland. They originally wanted to bring him out as a reporter. He was not hired officially by Channel 7 local people. He was brought in by the network under various circumstances as to why he should be coming here. Maybe they saw him as a potential star in their mind. I don't know, and I'm not saying that. Anyway, he was brought out here, and he doesn't especially stand out. He's not fantastic. He's not even average in my book, but that's neither here nor there. That's just my opinion. And I'm not going to hide away from that. Needless to say, curious circumstances, okay? They brought him out here, and he wrote down a lot of material. He was sending out inter-office memos about certain things, which some folks found to be kind of odd, a little bit sort of accusatory. And let's just say he lived up to the initial images and gossip, but it was gossip based on factual stuff, that the guy was kind of a snitch. Today, I don't know what they regard him as, but I do know that he's been off the air. And now you have this internal critical mass, I call it, at Channel 7. They don't know what to do. And Disney is on a tightrope. Believe me, folks, a figurative tightrope, because no matter what goes down, it's going to be controversial. And I imagine it will be resolved. And I imagine those of you that like this guy on the air, of course, he'll probably be back, but I don't know, as they say. I'm just giving you what is present now. They can't talk about it. If you notice this, I bet most of you haven't, he's not been on the air. It's well over a month now. And there's lots of talking and this, that, in the lunchroom. And I have sources within the Circle 7 boundaries that have given me information. And I'm, of course, giving it to you guys because that's why you come here. Okay? I have opinions. This is my opinion. But as I have said now, opinion based on fact. Doesn't mean I have to like it. Doesn't mean you have to like it or agree with it or disagree. I'm just giving you what they can't tell you, what they won't tell you. They want to keep it mum, much like the manner in which they fired, which they did, Michael Finney. Remember that guy? 33 years, 7 at your side. One of the best, most prominent Bay Area anchors, reporters, the consumer editor. Boom, gone. Now, this isn't approaching that yet. But this, kind of like that, because it involves, in the case of Finney, I think it was out and out ageism. It may go to a courtroom yet. Don't know about that. But that's the reason why they got rid of Finney. Plus, he wanted a lot of money. But that was then, and this is now. The Julian Glover drama has reached, yes, a critical mass at Disney, ABC, Channel 7, KGO-TV in San Francisco. I emphasize that because I wanted to emphasize that. It is Tuesday. I am Rich Lieberman, the Bay Area Media Pulse and beyond. Please, if you like this, if you like other things, become a subscriber here at my YouTube show. Like me, tell your lawyers, your plumbers, your doctors, your dentists, your mistress, whatever, your master, whatever, about me. And I promise you, I will give you vital information, opinion, and a whole lot of good, detailed, informative info. We'll see you soon, and we'll see you later. Folks, we're apparently still live on the air, and I have a camera looking at me. So, no, you're not imagining things, and the world is not coming to an end, but this is live, and I am trying to turn the camera off, and technical difficulties aside, it's not happening, but we will try again. In the meantime, enjoy the visual of Rich Lieberman. Don't you just love this? I get to watch me do my thing. And sometimes not even do my thing, and sometimes trying to shut a camera off. Maybe it's the Disney people. Maybe they're purposely doing this. Maybe they want to see me. There we go. Hopefully this has got it. Nope. Oh, well, we have to improvise here, folks. Let's see here. Well, we can always do this too.